1,000, tell me that, and we're going to convert that into percentage to see that what amount of percent have you lost or won. Of course, there's nothing that you can do. You lost? You lost 100%. You were at 1,000 and now you're nothing. But then you're negative. So I'm being good to you. So basically, you start with 1,000 and now you're at 0. So you lost 100% of your money. Okay, yes. 160 what?
Like it's left.
Deducted reserve.
Okay.
Minus 200 was reserve.
Yes, everything wiped out. Everything. So that means you made a loss of how much?
84%.
84%, which is pretty bad though. Yes. What about this team? They just played. This team? How much? 30 bucks or 30%? 30. So that is 3%. How much? 30 upon 1,000 into 100. 0.3%? Are you sure? 100%? Do it. Why don't you just do it? 30 upon 1,000 into 100. Come on.
110.
How will I do it? Okay. This team? Still calculating? Any help? Minus नहीं add कर What about the minuses that you got? Mashallah, like
Minus 1400.
got at least 1,400.
Minus 1400.
Go ahead.
Total for 2,470.
2,470 minus 1,320.
1,400. You took it 2,000. So how much is it? 770.
770.
770. So you made a loss of how much?
330.
330.
230.
230. So that's how much percent? 230 upon 1,000 into 100. Go ahead. 20? 3%? 3% profit. This team? 4% loss. Okay, so technically in this room, we have 5 teams. Let's reevaluate. How much?
23% profit.
Profit or loss? Loss, right? So you're trying to identify the ROI. What is ROI? You all have 1,000 bucks. They have a negative ROI of 23%. You have a negative ROI of 84%. They have a positive ROI of 3%. They have a negative ROI of 4%, and they have a negative ROI of 100%. Now, what can we analyze from this? There's a specific reason why I said this game is not connected to the other games, because technically I tricked them into this. Now, firstly, you shouldn't get tricked. That's the first thing of entrepreneurship. You cannot just get carried away with the fact that, okay, there's no harm in losing. You know the reason why they lost is because I told them that if you miss the first shot, you're going to lose all your money. Had I not said that, they would have easily played and made a good amount of money. I built a lot of pressure, and that is what happens when you put everything that you have. There is no thumb rule that can say that this is the amount of risk you should be taking. As long, it will differ from person to person. It's totally different. But the point is that if you can sustain that kind of pressure, you must take that amount of risk only. Whereas this team was the most conservative team. They kept a reserve of, say, 400 bucks, almost 40% they kept reserve. They still made a negative ROI. So it does not mean that less risk means more profit. Also at the same time, it doesn't mean more risk is equivalent to more profit. It's not going to happen always. It could lead to it, but it's not going to always happen. Okay, so are we good? All the teams, are you ready for the new set of games? The games from this very moment is going to be completely interrelated, and everything you decide and think is no longer as a student. You have 5 companies trying to compete against each other. Remember one thing, that whatever decision you're going to be taking or making is purely based from a business perspective and not with the intention that, okay, this will be fun or that's not going to be fun. Am I clear? Any confusion? Now, can anyone help me with the kind of entrepreneurs that we are aware of as of today? Let me tell you one thing, that since you just got acquainted to me, I have a very bad habit. I ask a question and I'm looking at very specific answers. Although all your answers are going to be correct because it's a very broad question that I've asked, I'm looking at something very, very specific. Yes. Somebody said something only when I asked. Sorry? Innovative. Okay. What is the other? Creative. Okay. Sorry? Come on, try something else. Risk taker. All of this is correct. I'm looking at something very specific. Although a word innovation was used, I want to know what do you mean by that? Who said innovation? Yes. What do you mean by that? A new product. That is one kind of an entrepreneur. I agree with that. What's the other kind of an entrepreneur? Sorry? Adding new features to an existing product, right? So there are two types of entrepreneurs. One completely who starts something like, maybe inventing a tube light or a bulb. That's one. One is how to make that bulb more fancy, right? So which one do you think has more scope as of today? Adding more features to the product, right? So with that, we are pretty close to your third challenge. Just 1 second. Yeah, this is your second challenge. Before we move to that, we were just discussing this. Please keep in mind, you either start something absolutely new, or you start with something for the very first time, or you may just pick up something. Can someone give me an example of these two types? One was launching a mobile phone, and one was making the mobile phone market go crazy. Right? Like there was a normal keypad, and then it moved on to touch screen, and then moved on to such a thing that there are no buttons only on the phone. Now there'll be a time when there'll be no, I don't know what is going to be happening. There'll be no phone, just like I've seen few videos on YouTube where there's a phone on your hand, is the screen is projected. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, that's the next thing, right? So you're constantly adding new and new features. Now, as a team, you all are going to work on a very simple project for the next 15 minutes. Now, remember, this is a small challenge which is going to shape your thought process for today. First, you need to keep in mind that you need to create or develop a mobile app, right? You do not need to know the technical know-how. You just need to know this is an idea. It could be a complete innovation, or it could be an improvisation of an existing product. Am I clear? If you're doing an improvisation of an existing product, you need to tell what is it going to be better on your app than the existing one. Am I clear? Now, there are a few rules for that. The duration is 15 minutes. Each team has to create a mobile app. Only it's not compulsory that you must agree on your points. So you can brainstorm. You have 15 minutes. Each one of you contribute an idea. But ultimately, you'll come up with one idea which your entire team agrees on. Am I clear? During these 15 minutes, if you have any queries, if you're confused whether this idea will work or no, put your hand up. I'll come to your team, help you out. But I am not going to suggest which idea you must take. It's completely your call which you will decide. Am I clear? After this 15 minutes are over, each team is going to get 90 seconds to come here and present their idea. Once they present their idea, all the other teams have only one question per team can be asked to the team who's standing out, and that question has to be a relevant question. Am I clear? Any confusion? The remaining rules could be understood over here. If you have any query, you can ask me. Your time for 15 minutes. Before I tell you that, remember one thing, this app must make money. It can't be a social service app, right? And at the same time, if possible, I'm not saying that is the only criteria, if possible, if you can think of an idea which could ease people's life as well and make things a little more easier. I'm not saying that's a mandatory thing, but if you can do that, it's a cherry on top. Am I clear? Yes? Your time for 15 minutes starts now.